Hello and welcome back to another Tuesday Night Light. First order of business, Rejoice on the Ridge. Coming up January 13th through 16th at the Cowboy Church on Missionary Ridge, hence on the Ridge. But what are we going to do there? We're going to rejoice because we serve an awesome God, and why wouldn't we rejoice? So this is not just for the Cowboy Church. We're inviting everybody in the community and people from different churches, and we just want to get together and worship God. There's going to be different music, different speakers, and it's going to be awesome. So mark your calendars, January 13th through 16th, 7 p.m., Thursday through Saturday, and then 10 a.m. on Sunday. So y'all aren't going to want to miss that. Rejoice on the Ridge, Crossroads Cowboy Church. It's going to be great. This week, we are in Matthew chapter 14, verse 22 through 33. It says this. I'm going to read the whole passage, so hang on. We got this. Immediately, he made the disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side, while he dismissed the crowds. This is right after he fed the 5,000. They wanted to make him king, and he's like, no, it's not my time. We got to get out of here. So that's what he always did. Anytime they wanted to glorify him in an earthly manner, he just skedaddled. Anyways, that tells you about his heart and his perspective for eternity. Getting off track. Boom. Verse 23. And after he had dismissed the crowds, he went on the mountain by himself to pray. Went up to the mountain by himself to pray. When evening came, he was alone there. But the boat by this time was a long way from the land, beaten by the waves, for the wind was against them. And in the fourth watch of night he came to them, walking on the sea. But when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified and said, "It's a ghost." And they cried out in fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, "Take heart, it is I. Do not be afraid." And Peter answered him. Of course, Peter answered, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." He said, "Come." So Peter got out of the boat, and he walked on the water and came to Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me." Jesus immediately reached out his hand and took hold of him, saying to him, "O you of little faith, why did you doubt?" And when they got into the boat, the wind ceased, and those in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." So first of all, we see that the boat's way far out there, getting beaten by the waves and the wind. The wind's against him. And Jesus, not just like a calm day, Jesus walking on water, even though that would also be amazing. It's choppy out there. The wind's blowing, the waves are coming up over, and Jesus is just strutting out there, doing his thing. And Peter speaks up. He says, "Call me to come." And he steps out, and he does. He has faith in Jesus, and he's watching him. But then, notice, he takes his eyes off Jesus in verse 30. But when this is talking to Peter, but when he saw the wind, he was afraid. How could he see the wind? How could he see the waves? Because he took his eyes off Jesus. Before that, when Jesus called him out on the water, he was looking at him. And that's how he was able to walk, because he had faith. And how often do we take our eyes off Jesus? And that's when stuff starts looking scary. It's not promised, I think it's great. It's not in the story that it was a calm, sunny day and Peter walked down the water. No, it was windy and the waves were coming and all this stuff. And Peter still walked on the water because he kept his eyes on Jesus. Just like in our lives, there's going to be suffering, there's going to be pain, affliction, and all these things that's going to feel choppy and it's not going to feel certain. But when we keep our eyes on Jesus, he can bring us through any situation. And even when we don't, he still has grace, as he did for Peter. As he began to sink, because he took his eyes off, Jesus immediately, it says in verse 31, reached out his hand and took hold of him, saying, "Oh, you little faith, why did you doubt?" So, and then when he gets in the boat, the wind ceases and everything, I imagine, is calm. And so it shows not only the power of God to let man walk on water and to walk on water, but to calm the wind and the waves. And so this song is just about how he controls the wind and the waves. And so if the wind and waves listen to him, why shouldn't I listen to him? Because he's got control of all of it. So keep your eyes on Jesus is the moral of that story. Swimming in a sea of anxiety, am treading on troubled water. Thought I had the cure, but I'm so insecure, and life keeps getting harder. The wind is whipping round, 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 and the waves keep crashing down, down, down. But in the wind and waves all listen, like the wind and waves all do. I see you, I need you, and I gotta keep you in focus, 'cause I know that where they blow and where they break, it's all what you say. You're the God of wind and waves. Ooh. My faith is small and the breakers are tall. You're strong enough to save me from it all. The thunder will quit and the ocean will split. You've done it before, so I shouldn't forget. There is nothing you can't do when I keep my eyes on you. In the wind and waves all listen, like the wind and waves all do. I see you, I need you, and I gotta keep you in focus, 'cause I know that where they blow and where they break, it's all what you say. You're the God of wind and waves. Ooh. In the wind and waves all listen, like the wind and waves all do. I see you, I need you, and I gotta keep you in focus, 'cause I know that where they blow and where they break, it's all what you say. You're the God of wind and waves. Ooh. Where they blow and where they break, it's all what you say. You're the God of wind and waves. He's the God of wind and waves. He's the God of everything. And so let us keep our eyes on him and trust that no matter what is going on around us, that he's got us. So y'all have a good week, and hope to see you on Rejoice on the Ridge or any Sunday at Cowboy Church. It's awesome. Crossroads Cowboy Church. Check it out. And Tuesday Night Light.